What's up, you guys? It's Colton. Welcome back to my channel. Now, we are nearing the last third of 2020, and I am by no means a financial expert, but what I can tell you, what I've learned over the years is follow the money. So on today's video, we're going to talk about the death of the dollar and where money could be going here in the future. So let's get it. Perfect. So as always, a friendly reminder, everything that I share on this channel is for education and entertainment purposes only. I am by no means a financial expert. I am simply just sharing and passing down the information that I've studied and I've back tested over the last 2.5 years. And I truly believe that information can change the situation for a lot of our lives. So I want to continue to bring this education to you all here on YouTube, and let's continue to live bullish, family. Enjoy the video. Perfect. So before we dive into the charts, I want to touch on two main fundamental aspects that we're going to be able to incorporate into our technical analysis, right? So the first fundamental key aspect I want to touch on is simply the evolution of money and how it's changed over the last 3,000 years, right? We started with a barter system where we were trading item for item, and then we struck metals like gold and silver, and we'd put a value to that. Then we started making metal coins, and then we came with fiat currency, which is paper currency, right? And then what? We moved from paper to plastic into debit and credit cards. And then as technology continued to change the scene, we moved into electronic money. And now as we see, the revolutionizing technology of blockchain is changing the game when it comes to cryptocurrencies and how these are going to be used over the next couple decades. So understanding that the dollar is simply losing value, right? Fiat currency is losing value because of technology. And if we don't stay up to date with how all of this is playing out,
cash is trash, right? You hear this all the time.
Whether it be from Grant Cardone, another real estate expert, or whether you're your favorite entrepreneur, you need to have your money in assets and in things that are going to help you multiply it down the road. Now, also, I want everybody to understand the psychology of a market cycle. And there's this thing called the Wall Street cheat sheet. Now, before I give you this cheat sheet, there's one thing that you have to do, and that's go turn that like button from a shade of gray to a shade of blue. All right, I know y'all didn't see that coming, but again, for the YouTube algorithm, we need people to be in front of this information, right? That's how we're going to change the system. That's how we're going to change the way that things happen from 2020 on. So go ahead and smash that like button. And now I'm going to go ahead and flash up a picture of that psychology cheat sheet, right? And this honestly is just going through the emotions that people feel as something goes from a state of beginning up to euphoria and then back down, because everything in life has a uptrend and a downtrend, right? We're always going through expansions and retracements in our life, not just on the charts, not just on your trading account, but on everything that we do. So understanding this is going to help us when we go look at the dollar index right now on a technical side. So let's get to the charts. Perfect. So what we're looking at here is the US dollar currency index on tradingview.com. The symbol is DXY. So right here, I have it on the monthly chart. We can see price action all the way back from 1985. If we wanted to see price action before that, I have another chart pulled up. This is from 71. So as we see, we started out around a 120 level. We traded down, we traded up to 160. And then overall, we've been in this down trending market when it comes to the value of the dollar. So what we're going to do quick is walk through the monthly. I'm going to brush through price so you guys can really see that these institutions have been playing the same game since the jump. And then we're really going to focus in on what price has been doing over the last 5 years and what we can look for over the next 10 years when it comes to the value of the dollar. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my brush tool and let's walk through it, right? So what do? We make a nice wave down, wave down, wave down, move, move, boom. What happens when we get to our low point? We drive one candle below the lows over here. We see the evidence that market trades back up. And what do? That creates a pool of money. So naturally, the market's going to drive back down into the open to the 50% of that last down candle. And then what we're going to do is trade above all the other areas of highs. So we get our nice mark up to the highs. We get a nice up candle, fastly move down. And this is just going to continue a downtrending market, equal out lows here, move up, equal highs, trade lower. And then what happens is we get another single candle down here. We see fast movement to the upside, right? We get a small retracement, movement to the upside. And then what we do is create more money. We drive one candle down into the 50% and open up this, and market creates equal highs, trades higher. Then over the last 5 years, what do we get? Equal highs, sweep lows, sweep highs, lower low, right? And then what did we do right here in March? Corona hit, gave a fake out to the upside, but overall we had a high and a lower high. So this is why I am a little biased to the downside when it comes to the death of the dollar. But now as we go deeper into this, we're really going to see as to why this all makes sense and how they go ahead and, you know, pretty much print us on the charts for us. And as long as we can sit here and understand how they move the markets like this, you know, that gives us a better chance to being part of their shift of wealth. So beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and erase those annotations. We are going to go ahead and dive deep into the last 5 years of price action. And that's what we're going to be focusing in on, right? So as we see here, right, this is the lowest price has ever been down here. Okay. Now, as we look into all of this, there's no big imbalance areas until we get to all of this price action right here. So overall, I'm going to mark these off, right, as just pools of money, right? Now, the cool thing is, as we look in here, right, what's the real true reality of what went on? Well, we had equal highs. We had a drive above. We had a drive above. We traded down below them, right? And then we had a nice retracement. We had a solid consolidation area right here. And then in March, Corona candle, right, came up and made a lower high, right? We had a high, and then you have a low. And then what we did on our Corona candle was a lower high. So now what we want to be looking for really is see if we can get evidence of a lower low somewhere down here. Now, where would we be looking for the evidence of a lower low? Well, let's go ahead and look at the imbalance areas that we still have yet to play, right? We have a little area hanging out in here that could be played this week, right? And then we also understand that these lows are a pool of money. So what's up under these lows? We have a lot of skipping right here within these 2 monthly candles. And then overall, we see our bigger time frame imbalance down in here, right? So what I'm going to go ahead and do is clean this up a little bit, delete that out. And this is what we're looking at. So versus the upside to where we only have one imbalance to work with, and that's this one monthly imbalance. So can we get a retracement back up in here? Absolutely. Does it need to happen? Not necessarily. And we're going to see that on a smaller time frame, that there's possibilities of up retracements, but overall, you guys can see we want to be targeting these lower prices, right? And as you guys can see, the open of this last down candle is right at that whole level price of 90.50, right? So let's go down to the weekly and see if we got anything else new. So as for the upside, right, there is a little bit of imbalance hanging up here. Do we need to get up around 99? I don't think so. I'm still focusing on this. As it comes over here, we see that we have this clear imbalance to play with a down structure, right? And then other than that, as you can see in this entire up move, there's only 3 weeks of down candles, right? Week 1, week 2, week 3. Look how these lie right here inside of these imbalances, right? So again, everything's playing out exactly how we would have wanted to see it. The crazy thing is, right, is we had all this accumulation, right? March hits, right? February, first week of March, we drive low, panic sell. And then we had a panic buy that ran the highs. And then wanted to add this in because I missed it on the technical analysis. The reason why we see that first week of March drive below the lows and then those next couple weeks drive above the highs is because think about it. When Corona hit, everybody got scared and everybody's jobs started going away. So what did they do? They went to the bank and pulled out money. Everybody was holding physical cash. Over those next couple weeks, they were just accumulating cash. So that drove the value of the dollar up. And then over these next couple months, people started distributing that cash into their other assets that are going to be touched on later on in the video. And that's why we see that big bearish momentum out of March and April. Overall, we see that continue downside of the dollar. So when it comes to the dollar index, you don't need to go down to smaller time frames. The monthly, weekly, daily is all you really need, because as we come down to the daily, we can see the narrative. Drop down, consolidate, drop down, consolidate. What could we be looking for next, right? What are we making right now? Equal lows. Now let's go back to the psychology of it. If the dollar index is losing value, that means people are not holding cash. They're not holding dollars because there's a lot being printed, right? So when people aren't putting their money into the US dollar currency, what do they go put their money into, right? That's the big question. Because as we see, look, as the dollar index has been bearish, what do people go invest into? They go invest into index funds like the S&P. They go invest into metals and like gold and silver. They go invest into cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Ripple, right? The Dow Jones, right? Whatever it may be. So people are going to not have the dollar and they're going to go invest it into other things. Now, not only can you put those two comparisons together, look at this diagram right here before we go look at a couple other pairs, right? If the DXY is bullish, that means that if we're looking at an XXX USD pair, this pair could be looking to move bearish because that dollar's on the back end. Vice versa, if the USD is on the front end and we have a bullish DXY, then we could be seeing that pair move bullish, right? Now, vice versa, if the DXY is bearish, then XXX quoted to USD may be bullish, and then USD XXX may be bearish. So if this is your first time hearing this, I would pause the video and write this down and really take it in, but this is not what we're going to focus on here, even though it is a key concept when understanding the comparison of the dollar index, right? But this is what I want to go ahead and show you all is let's compare. So let's go to GBP USD now that I just showed you guys that. Now I'm on the weekly. I'm going to go ahead and overlay the dollar index. I'm going to hit compare. I'm going to type in DXY. I'm going to go in and click it on. And now, as you guys can see, I think you could agree with me that they kind of move opposite. GU moves down, dollar index moves up, right? GU moves up, dollar index moves down. Dollar index moves up, GU moves down because they're moving opposite. So look how clean this is. So this is just one confirmation that you can have in your charts. Let's go take a look at USD CAD. What do you see? Very similar price action, right? What do you see on USD JPY? Very similar price action. What do you see on AUD USD? Very different, opposite price action, right? What do you see on Euro USD? Very different, opposite price action. I'm a broken record over here, but you guys have to understand how powerful understanding where the dollar index is going to go, could be going, and then go ahead and using that into your analysis. So as for this week, right? If you've made it this far, congratulations. That is our talk on the US dollar. And now you guys pretty much get a little insight to what I'd be looking for this week, right? So overall, all of this, there's no clean imbalance area I'd be looking to play. I would overall just want them to go ahead and take this pool of money and move down towards 92. You know, we obviously have areas where we could come retrace anywhere up in here, but it just depends on how this is going to look. I wouldn't really be looking to buy this up only to sell this down. I would only be looking to sell this down if we were to get up here. But other than that, we're just gonna have to see how it plays out. But overall, you know, we're bearish on the dollar index, right? So if we're bearish on the index, that's why everything last week just traded in the same direction for the most part, right? So there's really no stopping to them right now, especially if the dollar index keeps moving the way it does. Perfect. So with that bias of the bearish dollar index, we could be looking, what we want to be looking for is any possible retracements on GBP USD to go ahead and continue up to the upside. Now, I do see this big candle right here. It looks like we could come play into the open of this. We got a nice imbalance right here. We had a nice mitigation play here as well, and as well as here. Right? Look at this. Drive down below the lows, trade above, trade back into the open, trade above, trade back into the open, trade above. So we could come trade back into this anywhere here. So we go on to the hour chart, right? Nice and clean, nice and clean. We just, you know, you don't want to be selling this too soon. You don't really have a top to work with. We have very high price action over to the left. So overall, just want to see if we can get any retracements on GBP USD. You know, again, with it being Sunday, you're going to want to let the markets play out. Nothing's really looking clean to me until we go ahead and do a Monday overlook, to be honest. And that's why the power of the dollar to start off the week is something that you really need to be focusing on, right? But other than that, I love y'all. Appreciate y'all for tuning into this video. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And I hope everybody has a great week. Expect another video, a midweek video, and expect some you know, new stuff in the chat. If you enjoyed this and aren't already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and smash that like button, even hit the bell if you want to be updated on my future videos. I appreciate y'all for being here. Let's live bullish this week. And I love y'all. Let's get it.